morning, y'all. What's up? I'm all up in the James O'Keefe Project Veritas exposés that have been going on about the big tech companies. So if you have not seen the one on the new whistleblower just came out on Pinterest, you guys should check that out. It's amazing. There was a lady that came out for Facebook, and this is going to start, I believe, a ripple effect of other people coming out because, and speaking about these tech monsters, but that's what they are. They're monsters. And it was interesting because it was just a couple days ago that they had this guy on, and they did a really good job in concealing his identity. They concealed his voice. They concealed his, his face, so you didn't know what he looked like. And then, really, the way that they did it, you couldn't even tell if it was a he or she. So, but anyway, I guess Pinterest found out that he whistleblowed on them and they fired him. So, I mean, I'm guessing, anybody that works in tech, they probably have tabs on them, and they probably keep tabs of their email records and, all that stuff, right? So if you work for one of these, I mean, they already have tabs on us, as lay people that don't work for the tech companies. So you think that, these you're working for a tech company, that all of your personal information is safe? This is bullshit. This is another reason why, I hope more tech people come out, because they think that they're, probably siding with a giant, right? Like David and Goliath. They're siding with the giant for safety, it's always going to turn against them because the giant only cares about itself, right? So somebody, who was this? I was thinking, anyway, they're talking about like evil and how a lot of wimpy people kind of side with evil because they think that maybe they're not big enough to fight, right? They're not like of the jock mentality. Like jocks can physically protect themselves, and therefore maybe they're more likely to to speak out because they're not afraid of people coming after them to get their butt kicked. Well, in these tech companies, you have this very kind of geeky, nerdy, beta male that works at these. I mean, I'm sure there's some exceptions, of course, with everything, but the profile usually is like a kind of a measly, more beta male that works with these companies, and a lot of, because they put a lot of their time and energy into focusing their brain power into memorizing and regurgitating information, and that makes for a very good coder, right? And maybe you might find some creativity to invent something new, but coders basically, they're just memorizing, regurgitating information. There's like information like worker bees, right? So you have this kind of this mindset of these nerdy guys that are working for these companies, and they see the power that these companies have, and instead of coming out and standing up against them because they are scared, they kind of decide to side with evil, not necessarily saying that they're evil themselves, but they think that evil in the end is going to protect them, right? Because they're on the monster side. They're on the side of the monster. So if they're friends with the monster, if they're good with the monster, or they're in good with the monster, they think that the monster isn't going to turn on them, but it always does. Okay, so anyway, I'm so happy for this guy. I mean, if I were him, though, I would be scared. And he was pushed to the point where he's just like, this is America. We're going to lose our rights. We're going to lose our freedom of speech. This is more than just about my job. And he was talking about in the interview how the tech companies, this is how they control people. They make them think that social media is the only thing that life is about. And I'm paraphrasing, he didn't say it exactly like that, but basically he was saying it's like this high school bully mentality, right? And it's funny because you think that when you're an adult that that the bullies go away, but they never do if you don't stand up for yourself, right? They're always gonna find a way to there's always something or someone that's going to find a way to hold their power over you if you don't stand in your own power. So this guy, he has a GoFundMe to help him financially a little bit. Hopefully he had some money saved. But you know, he was outed and they fired him, and you know, I feel bad for that. I know he needs money and a job, especially I think he lives in the Bay Area. But I think about this point, if you live in the Bay Area, it's pretty much a cult now. Like, I would just get the hell out. It's a cult in, oh God, man, Berkeley's up there, all the Silicon Valley's up there. The living situation is just ridiculous. This was like a few years ago, so I'm sure it's gotten worse, but it's like $4,500 a month for a 1-bedroom in San Francisco now. And I know people that live slightly outside of San Francisco where it's a little cheaper, but it's still like ridiculously expensive. They're having, you know, a huge homelessness issue with people shitting in the streets. There are needles everywhere. It's just not a good place, man. It's falling to fucking shit. So anyway, I really admire James O'Keefe. He's like one of the last of the OG journalists, right? He's very old school, and he does, you know, what you're supposed to do as a journalist. You know, he's really good about not revealing his sources. You're supposed to protect your sources to the death, and he pretty much does that. He's really good about not revealing his sources. You know, he gets the information. He's really smart. He's very astute. He's very confident, and he's very brave, you know. And I think he just won a defamation lawsuit. Some kind of, I haven't seen that video yet. He just won something. But I mean, this is great. I really don't think that these tech companies are going to get away with it. You know, we're kind of in the I don't know if we're at the dark night of the soul. You know, I'm thinking about like life right now in terms of a plot, and how, you know, we're on the hero's journey, and we're at the climax. We're at the climax right now, where shit's going down, right? And I don't know what the resolution is going to be. I try and stay optimistic, and for the most part I am, but there's a lot of stuff that needs to be addressed, you know. But these tech companies, I mean, they're controlling everything now, from, you know, the food that we eat, because they're merging, and, you know, they're meeting at Bilderberg with other people that are controlling, you know, that are into agriculture. So then it's like they're controlling our food, you know. They're censoring stuff about vaccines. They're, you know, like this. I had a person in the comments write me the other day, and they said that somebody erased they had an anti-vaccine post on Pinterest, and somebody they erased it, and then they told him that they would offer him help, like counseling, because they thought he was doing self-harm. I was like, those arrogant bastards. Okay, wow. Instead of, this is the point that is reached. They're so sure that they're right about stuff that, you know, when it's actually the opposite, right? The people that are anti-vaccine are more into health. They understand how their body and their immune system works, and they tend to be healthier, you know, than the average pro-vaxxer. Honestly, you know, I get all these people that are like pro-vaccine and stuff while they're eating GMOs. You know, I just did that debate, and all through the debate, like, the main dude is like puffing on e-cigarettes, right, the whole time, and I'm just like, really? Like, I'm gonna take health advice from you? Seriously? You know, all these people, and then, you know, you get somebody on the anti-vaccine side that, you know, like Dale Bigtree or Jenny McCarthy, who look great. They look really healthy. But then, you know, the pro-vax lobby gets all like hater, and they're just like, oh, well, they're really seductive and they're very attractive. I was like, yeah, maybe that's because taking vaccines makes you ugly. Maybe you're just hating because they understand how health works and they look healthy. And the ones that are like Peter Hotez, that was on Joe Rogan, right? He's like sitting up there talking about vaccines and how great they are, and then Joe brings up like GMO food, and he's like, what? I eat it all the time. And this dude's like fucking overweight, he's balding, his skin looks awful. He's not like a healthy person. I wouldn't take health advice from him. I don't care if he's a doctor. A lot of doctors don't understand anything about health. So I don't even go to allopathic doctors anymore, except for, you know, I don't know, God forbid I were like broken bones and shit like that, because that's pretty much the only thing they know how to do. As far as disease, they're out. I'm done. Okay, I know I had to go on my vaccine tangent for today, but yeah, I just think that the arrogance of these bastards just to, tell you what's right for you because you don't know. They know, right? Oh, you poor little layperson. You can't possibly be as smart as we are. You can't possibly know what's good for you. Let us tell you. And if you criticize it, it's because that you want to do self-harm to yourself. Go fuck yourselves, tech companies. I hope you burn, okay? Like, I shouldn't say that literally, because then they'll be like, oh, she's making threats against the tech companies. I don't think that physical action is necessary, but I just think that people need to see their power and how they're using it for evil, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. Once people lose their faith in these tech companies, because believe it or not, I'm using the word faith, I think it's a really good way to describe the situation, because these assholes are trying to become God, right? It's basically the battle between nature and technology, and what's natural, what's not. And we have all this technology that's giving us health problems, that's messing with our heads, that's ruining our society. On the bad hand, it is giving us things like connection, the ability to work from different places, great cell phone connections, the ability to keep in touch with anybody we love from all over the world. I had a friend that just went to Africa, and he texted me from Africa, and I was like, whoa, that was crazy. I was like, where are you? You back? He's like, I'm in Africa. I was like, shut up. That's cool, but I mean, you think about these 5G towers, you think about, a lot of these, like how it's killing bats and birds and shit, and how it's, it can give you cancer and do all this awful stuff. Is it worth it? Is this power worth it, right? How all these robots are taking away people's jobs and they're going to be obsolete. They want to kill off most of the population, the elites do. So this whole technocratic dictatorship is because these assholes are trying to play God. And the best way to really, win or beat them is to get people to lose their faith in them, right? Because a lot of people are giving their faith to these tech industries. They don't understand the power of nature. They don't understand the power of our humanity, and how this whole technocratic bureaucracy is disconnecting us from that in every way, whether it's the GMOs and how we can't grow stuff anymore from a lot of the stuff from seed anymore, right? You have to get seed from Monsanto, because they're the way that they're using their agriculture, they're wiping out certain fruits and vegetables. They are messing up the soil, so we're not getting nutrients, right? And then we're gonna have to depend on pills and stuff, right? Or certain other things to get nutrients from, right? All these vaccines are causing autoimmune diseases, which we need pills for, right? And medication for, to be normal, just to live, right? To have a quality, some kind of quality of life. It's not even the best quality of life, just to keep us, whether it's antidepressants or asthma medication or diabetes or, painkillers or all these things, right? We shouldn't have to be dependent on this. I think I told you we interviewed a whistleblower from the pharmaceutical industry when we had our podcast a few years ago, and she said that they were going to meetings or she would go into meetings, and the pharmaceutical industry, they would project, or what their goals would be, but to have at least 2 people, everybody on the planet addicted to medication, to at least 2 medications minimum. Everybody on the planet, okay? Wow, doesn't this sound like they're in the business of getting people well, does it? It sounds like they're in the business of making customers, right? Lifelong customers. That's what they want. They're not interested in curing people. So, and all of these entities are merging to enslave us, right? I mean, we're already slaves, but I think we're at the point where we're waking up, and like I keep saying, we're at the point where we can be freer than we ever been, or we can be enslaved like never before. So yeah, I guess that's it. That's a good way to wrap this up, but I just wanted to say that. Oh yes, please check out How to Debunk a Pro-Vax Zealot. I know it's going to be a lot of parts, and I know everybody's not going to be interested, but it really is a good reference for stuff that you might want to learn about vaccines. So I put clips, video clips, and lectures. I cut them in within the debate, so it's not just the whole debate. And I also put because it is boring, but informative. And I also put links in the description if you guys want to research it further. So that's it, y'all. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Peace, love, bye-bye. Mwah.